Ralph Brown, born in 1960, is a famous British actor. The big audience will know him as Ric Olié in 1999's The Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1, of course. Other key roles include a part in Alien³ and Wayne's 2. Hello, Mr. Brown.
Hello.
Hello. Well, my first question is, you've been to Celebration 3?
Yeah.
Which is a very big convention. How does this compare to one of our small? This is a big one for Benelux, but it's small compared to Celebration 3. How does it compare?
Actually, you know, it compares very well. Celebration 3 was a very large convention centre, probably 4 times the size of this, and with many more events, you know, and things going on. But of course, it lasted for 4 days, and I think if you spent 4 days there, you still wouldn't get to see everything, you know. But there was the same atmosphere, people walking around in costume, taking photographs of each other, actors and other artists lining up to sign photographs, and lots of fans and lots of merchandise as well.
Is there any difference between the American audience and the European or the Belgian, mainly Belgian audience?
No, I would say not. I didn't know what to expect at Celebration. Actually, we had guests there from Argentina, from Mexico, from Japan, South Africa, from India, and Europe, and all over the United States and Canada. So it was like a world convention, really. Yeah, you couldn't put Star Wars fans into any particular box. They come in all shapes and sizes and colours and everything, you know.
You've worked on Alien³ and we all know it's been very well published in the press that there was a lot of stress on director David Fincher. Was there a lot of stress on the actors as well?
Yes, there was.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? What was the main problem with Alien³? Was it the studio that
the main problem with Alien³ for my money, was that they never really settled on a finished script. While I was shooting, my deck changed 5 times, and I would be sitting in my dressing room waiting to go on set, and a piece of paper would come under the door and it would be a new deck. So over the course of the months I was there, and we didn't film the death until right at the end. So originally I was in the lead mold, burned alive, then I was killed by the alien, then I was killed by Golic, then I can't remember the other 2. Finally I got shot by the company and fell, but they kept changing their mind. That was just one small example. They kept changing their mind about everything to do with the story. I just thought, well, they've spent so much money on setting this up that at least they could have stuck to a script. But of course the original script was Vincent Ward, and then it changed to Walter Hill, David Giler, and then Fincher got involved, and then Sigourney got involved, you know, and I don't know, David wanted to film it in a certain way, David Fincher, and it was his first film, and he was very aware that the studio could take the film off him at any time, so he shot it in a way so that they couldn't match what he was shooting. He said they can't match my shots, my dailies, because everything he shot was very slow and a very slow moving camera. He also was trying to shoot it in such a way that it couldn't be re-edited, because it's very hard to cut into a moving shot. But of course they did cut into his version of the film quite savagely, and I was lucky enough to see a very early cut, which David screened for some of the actors with some other music on in Pinewood Studios, and it was a masterpiece. Really majestic, creepy, scary, uncomfortable, but brilliant piece of filmmaking. And then he had the real battles for him began after we'd finished shooting. But while we were shooting, it was difficult. It was winter. It was very cold. The Gulf War, the first Gulf War had just started, and the atmosphere was very much of people looking over their shoulders like, who's coming for me next? Lots of people got hurt on the film, got injured. People were getting sacked and fired for different reasons, and so there was a lot of paranoia inside the film crew. And I wondered whether, if you're making a horror film, this is the feeling you have to have.
It was horror.
Yeah.
There's over 200 boxes of unused footage for Alien 3 that's been lying around Fox. Was your role more substantial in the first cut?
I had two big scenes with Sigourney Weaver that were just myself and Sigourney were completely cut. But actually, most of my stuff survives.
But how does that feel? You put your time and everything into a scene, and then they cut it without mercy, without any...
Yeah, well listen, for Alien 3 I have a really huge role. I have a great part in that film. So I can't complain about that. But for example, Eragon, I was totally cut out of that film.
Yeah.
I played the twins in that film, and I played both of the twins. There's no trace of these characters in the film because they didn't have time to put more characters in, you know, whatever the reason was that they gave me. And that's very disappointing.
Is that why you...
That's when you start to write.
Yeah,
and that's when you start to direct. because you get, you know, you realise as an actor you're just posting a letter in the letterbox and it may or may not get delivered.
Do you like the idea of the DVDs providing more scenes for the fans? For example, scenes of you getting saved on the DVD that were not in the theatrical cut?
I haven't seen that. Is that in Alien 3?
Well, I don't know about that one, but it's just as a general rule.
Yeah.
It's known that most scenes crop up on a DVD.
That weren't on the picture?
Yeah.
Well, that's obviously better than never seeing the light of day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just becomes forgotten completely.
Because there is a new Alien 3 cut. I don't know if you
which
heard
Alex
about
Thompson made apparently.
Yeah, indeed. Without Finch's involvement, of course.
Yeah, well,
because
David would never do it. Yeah.
With his gut. Another troubled production you worked on was, which you already mentioned, The Exorcist prequel.
Yep.
What exactly happened there?
Clearly, I have the kiss of death about me because almost every film I've been involved with.
You.
It is. If I touch the film, he goes. I used to think it was me actually, and you get talking to other directors and actors and people, and actually almost every single 9 out of 10 films are troubled. 9 out of 10 films don't get made, and then out of the ones that do get made, 9 out of 10 of those are troubled. So if you get to be in one which is good, and I have been in 2 of those, you're very, very lucky. So actually every film has some terrible story. But The Exorcist was ridiculous. We shot the whole film in Morocco and in Rome with Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver. And
very talented guy.
Lovely to work with him. He's a really sweet man as well. And I was thrilled to be lucky enough to work on that and to work on really an old-fashioned melodrama, really, his script. Actually not his script, but his version of somebody else's script. And then the studio decided to put it in the bin when they saw it and start all over again with Rennie Harlin, using some of the footage and using some of the cast and recasting some other people. I think I'm pretty much cut from the Rennie Harlin version. Somebody told me yesterday I'm still in one shot. I haven't seen it. I've seen Paul's version of the film, which is pretty close to what we shot, I have to say. But that never got a release. It's out on DVD now, thank God, so at least it exists, but it didn't have any post-production funds, so it's actually not the finished product. But I think Paul kind of feels vaguely philosophical about it. Paul Schrader, I mean, he feels like, it was his fault for accepting it. Also he shouldn't have accepted the job because he must have known that working for Warner Brothers, this is what it would be like,
Finally, we come to your one of your biggest roles is in Wayne's World 2, which is fondly remembered by movie enthusiasts around the globe. How is Mike Myers? Was he really as funny and as charming as he comes across on the screen?
Mike was, he was really sweet, Dana Carvey was actually much friendlier than Mike was, and much warmer.
Yeah.
Mike was busy making his way in Hollywood when we were making that film, And so he was really focused, and I felt a bit like I was somebody that was kind of working with him on the film, but I wasn't very important, so therefore he wasn't going to spend a huge amount of energy on me. But he was cool, you know. He was great to work with, you know, he wrote the part for me. You know, the part was based on Withnail and I, which is a kind of a well-loved British movie from 1987, which has now become a cult film. This is a still from Withnail and I. This is the character became Del Preston in Wayne's World 2, almost with the same voice but without any drug references because it was Hollywood. It was a joy to work on Wayne's World 2. Absolutely fantastic experience, you know.
One man alone cannot do this. Wayne, you will run the backstage team. Milton, you are the liaison between Wayne's backstage team and Garth's front stage team, which includes myself in the booth. To the left and the right of the stage are the machine gun nests, belt-fed M60 Brownings. Now, these babies tend to heat up, so shoot in 3-second bursts. In the event of capture, I will personally distribute cyanide capsules to be placed under the tongue like so. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. When did you turn into a nut bar?
Yeah.
When you get recognized on the street, do people tend to see Ric Olié from Star Wars or your character in Wayne's World or Alien³
Well, it's actually unusual that they know who I am, to be honest. What I get a lot is, where do I know you from? You look familiar.
I've seen you before.
Yeah. Did I go to school with you? Or they say, what have you been in? And I say, where do I know you from? And I go, well, I don't know. Give me a clue. And then they want the big list of everything that I've been in. I go, no, I didn't see that. No. Oh yeah, I saw that. Who are you? That? Oh yeah, that was all right. It's terrible. You have to make a list of things and wait for people to. So.
Well, one more question about the charity I've been talking about. If you could make a wish like the children from Make-A-Wish, what would your wish be?
I think I'd really like to direct a movie. You know, and I think I would find that kind of pleasing, and I think I would find it kind of satisfying to use all of the knowledge and the craft that I've built up over the years working in films to make a film of my own.
Is there one thing you...
But actually, philosophically, you can ask me the question again, and I'll give you a completely different answer.
Well, what would your wish be, philosophically?
Philosophically, my wish would be to stop the arms trade and to actually level the playing field in terms of trade between Africa and the rest of the world, because at the moment it's not fair. Africa is very rich. You know, they produce diamonds, they produce chocolate, rice, gold, you know, and yet they're very, very poor. The reason is that the rules of trade are the wrong way around.
So you're a big supporter of Make Trade Film, Make Fair Trade, Oxfam?
Yeah.
It's one of your...
Yeah, I'm very much against the arms trade as well. I think in 200 years' time, the arms trade will be seen to be as repulsive as the slave trade is to us now.
Is there one final thing you'd like to say to these volunteers, the people who, well, without any financial gain, work for Make-A-Wish, maybe into the camera, as a sort of hello?
Yeah, you're doing really great work, and for me, a lot of charity is just like a sticking plaster over a wound, and really we need to change the political structure. But this particular charity, I think, is actually directed at the people who really need it, and there's nothing political you can do to sort of help people who are very, very sick. But this charity can do that. So thank you very much.
Mr. Brown, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you again one day in Belgium.
Yeah.
Your 5th time then?
Yes.
And, in the meantime...